much into what brought us here. We'll have an opening prayer, after which our members will introduce themselves. Then I will give the mic to them so that they can take us through. Already they have a written address which they will present. Why is CD? Can you pray for us, please? Thank you very much. Let me quickly and most respectfully pass the mic to gentlemen on the press to introduce themselves. We start with Oga Basharmani.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. My name is Bashir Abdulwani. I report for People's Day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am Advocacy Suleiman. I report for the nation and the Nigerian newspapers.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mr. Andari. I'm from Rima Television Show. I am Ankali Mano. I am from National Court newspaper. Abubakar Umar Gambo, NTA Sokoto.
I am Ibrahim Salim Isa, working with Alvin Radio School.
Adiza Hazim Muhammad, Voice of Nigeria. I'm Muhammad Kimarewaki.
I'm Umar Aganado, the Tribe Newspapers. Musalia Musalia, I report for Aminci.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Brian Yusuf Bendi, Radio Nigeria Royal Area.
Good morning all. My name is Tunde Ole from the Guardian newspapers.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sunil Omar, working with the local newspaper. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdul Samad Abubakar Kuka from Aluya Guri FM.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Bashir Abubakar from Garakoa FM Radio.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Umar Manula from CSA Center for Social Advocacy.
Thank you, Madam Leader.
My name is Haidu Ismaila from CSA Center for Social Advocacy.
My name is Abubakar Abdullah Gani, Assistant Secretary State Aminci from Ministry of Information.
My name is Odubina Innocent. I'm the reporter of this day newspaper.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rasul from Armenian newspaper. My name is Salamule Maru from the Punch newspaper.
My name is Aminci Suleiman from Sokoto newspaper.
Facts.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ismail Muhammad from the Fars.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Musa Wandaki, Bangladesh.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ismail Umar. I work with Voice of Nigeria.
My name is Habibu Harris. I work with the News Agency of Nigeria.
My name is Tukul Salus Mayama from Rima Radio School.
Gift Michael Gordon, Caliphate Radio.
I am Shabbat Suleiman. I work for the Sunday newspaper.
Come on.
Gentlemen of the press, now has the honor and privilege to hand over the mic to Ibrahim Abdullah Shubi, who is the Chairman, Board and CEO of Aminci Center for Social Advocacy and Community Development.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, kindly permit me to give this mic to my colleagues so that they do small introduction. Let me begin by Brian.
Good morning, colleagues. I am Brian Mohamed Gala, the Community Mobilization Officer from Aminci Center for Social Advocacy and Development Initiative.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning everyone. Nasrullah Memory is my name. I'm the Executive Director, Aminci Center for Social Advocacy and Development Initiative, CSE.
Jackie?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar Zakari, of Social Advocacy.
All right. My name is Ibrahim Abdullah Shuni, the Chairman, Board, and Chief Executive Officer, Aminci Center for Social Advocacy and Development Initiative. Gentlemen of the press, I appreciate Mr. Chairman for welcoming us to this press center, and as he earlier highlighted, we are here today to discuss a national issue that relates to okay. Okay. To a call made by a non-governmental organization referred to as MORIC, that is Muslim Rights Concern. So we are here to present a rejoinder to what they have identified in their memo that was released a few days ago. So you kindly permit me to read the text, after which we may engage you in some discussions. Gentlemen of the press, MORIC, this is a call, MORIC 14 days ultimatum, a call for responsibility, not scapegoating, a rejoinder by Aminci Center for Social Advocacy and Development Initiative number 14 Danger Road, Kantinsani area, Mabera, here in Sokoto. The attention of the public has been drawn to the statement by the Muslim Rights Concern, MORIC, through its Executive Director, Professor Ishaq Okintola, giving the Honorable Minister of Defense, General Christopher Gombi Musa, retired, 14 days to stop killing in Sokoto or resign. The concern by MORIC over the loss of innocent lives, abductions, and insecurity in Sokoto, as indeed anywhere in Nigeria, is understandable. Every Nigeria has a legitimate right to demand effective security, and no responsible government or security institution should be complacent about the loss of lives of Nigerian citizens. However, the manner and substance of MORIC's ultimatum raises some fundamental questions about whether the organization fully understands the working of the federal government, the institutional structure of Ministry of Defense, the constitutional chain of command of the armed forces, and equally importantly, the shared responsibility of citizens in confronting insecurity in Nigeria. Let me identify some key issues Number one, does Murik understand how government ministries work? Yeah, they may. But let me clearly identify some few things. A ministry is not a personal domain, a personal domain of the minister who heads it. That is, it doesn't reside there. The Federal Ministry of Defense, all of us know, is a complex institution comprising civilian administration, civilian administrative structure, and also the military component of the defense headquarters, and the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Air Force, alongside several defense institutions and agencies. The official organizational structure of the Ministry of Defense itself demonstrated this distinction. The Honorable Minister sits at the policy level, while the Permanent Secretary and the various departments, agencies, and military authorities perform distinct statutory and professional responsibilities. It is therefore misleading to suggest that the Minister of Defense personally commands every soldier, determines every deployment, directs every tactical engagement, or possesses the unilateral ability to prevent every criminal or terrorist attack anywhere in Nigeria. National security is a system. It requires a coordinated effort of the presidency, of the armed forces, police, intelligence agencies, state government, local government, traditional institutions, communities, and also the citizens. So Murik should therefore be careful in order not to reduce this complex national security architecture into one individual. Number two, what is the role of the Minister of Defense? The Minister of Defense, the Honorable Minister of Defense, is the political head of the Ministry of Defense and has important responsibility relating to defense policy, strategic direction, oversight, resource mobilization, procurement, administration, welfare, institutional coordination, and accountability within the defense sector. These are the major responsibility of the minister. But the minister is not the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The 1999 Constitution makes this very, very clear. Section 218 vests the president as the commander-in-chief with the power to determine the operational use of the armed forces. The president appoints the chief of defense staff and also the service chiefs, and the minister doesn't do that. The constitutional distinction is not a technicality, but this is fundamental. All of us know. Consequently, holding the minister solely and personally responsible for every attack committed by terrorists, bandits, or kidnappers in any part of the country misunderstands the command structure of the Nigerian state. Indeed, the Armed Forces Act establishes an Armed Forces Council comprising the President, the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, and the 3 service chiefs, with the President as the chairman. So it is therefore neither constitutionally accurate nor institutionally fair to portray that the Minister of Defense as though he is the sole operational commander of the entire Nigerian security architecture, Nigerian security system. Number 3, security is everybody's business. Murik is absolutely correct in one point, that Nigeria must be able to live, farm, travel, worship, and conduct their business without fear of being killed, of being stopped from going to their farms. And this is the concern of all the civil society organizations, in fact, all the citizens of the country. But if this security is important enough for Murik to demand accountability from government, it should also be important enough to recognize that security is a collective responsibility. All of us have a role to play. Myself and all of you, the media, including the civil society, the traditional institutions, all of us have a role to play in ensuring we have a secured country. Terrorists and bandits do not operate in a vacuum. All of us know. one would say a vacuum and empty space. They depend on information, local network, informants, financiers, safe houses when they kidnap, or probably when they want to sleep, transportation, communication, sympathizers also that do not want them to be punished. And sometimes the silence or cooperation of individuals within the community. So without this, there is no way terrorists can operate. And that is why the Honorable Minister has repeatedly emphasized that emphasized the importance of intelligence-led operation and collaboration between security agencies and the local communities. He has been saying that. He has held several meetings, and he has kept on emphasizing on that. In July 2026, while addressing the security personnel in Sokoto, he specifically stressed that traditional rulers, religious leaders, community leaders, and ordinary citizens have important role to play in providing information and denying criminals the environment in which they will operate. The question therefore ought not to simply be, what is the Minister of Defense doing? It should be, what are Murik, civil society organizations, religious leaders, traditional institutions, state governments, local governments, and individual citizens doing to help the security agencies identify, isolate, and also defend the criminals, defeat the criminals, sorry. Number 4, what has been the contribution of Murik in this critical situation of insecurity? Murik has every right to criticize. Well, as a civil society, I know we have rights to criticize the government policy. It also have the right to demand protections for Nigerian citizens. But ideally, criticism must be accompanied by constructive responsibility. Murik should tell Nigeria clearly and transparently what concrete contributions it has made to the fight against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and violent crime beyond issuing the press statements. Because there are a lot of intervention. As a civil society activist, you can do in addressing this. So the question becomes particularly relevant when the organization speaks with such authority on security situation. What intelligence has, I want to break these issues one by one. What intelligence has Murik supplied to the security agency? How many criminal networks has it helped expose? How many communities has it mobilized for early warning mechanisms? How many programs has it undertaken to discharge recruitment into violent groups? How many initiatives has it sponsored to help prevent radicalism and violent extremism? How many victims of insecurity has it directly supported? How many community-based peace and security structures has it helped establish? These are some legitimate questions that, because national security cannot be reduced to only press statements. I'm not trying to join swear to them, but these are very fundamental questions that, yes, if you want to speak with authority, then you need to mention 1 or 2, 3 of these contributions you have made so far. Number 5, and what about Kwara State? We decided to pick Kwara because, well, from the statement you hear, the question is even more pertinent regarding to Kwara State, as it's a state with which Murik leadership has publicly engaged extensively on social, religious, and security-related issues. It's very clear, it's in the news, and we know it. So Murik has issued numerous interventions concerning security, communal tension, religious disputes, and protection of Muslims in Kwara. That is, its own public record demonstrates that it has actively intervened in matters involving security agencies and communal tension in Kwara State. That raises a reasonable question. What measurable contribution has it made towards addressing the broader insecurity challenges confronting Kwara, not only Kwara, Sokoto, and Nigeria as a whole? Because in their statement specifically they mentioned Sokoto, they referred to Sokoto specifically. So what have they made? Not only restricting themselves to only Kwara. It is not enough to demand that one minister of insecurity within 14 days. That is the fundamental issue we have with them. That ultimatum of 14 days. Those who seek accountability from government must equally demonstrate what they themselves are contributing to the solution. Then why did they single out Minister of Defense? That is another question. Why singling out the Minister of Defense? This perhaps the most important questions raised by Murik ultimatum. Why the Minister of Defense alone? Why not the entire national security architecture? Service chiefs, police. Why not address the President and Commander-in-Chief, whose constitutional responsibility including determining the operational use of the armed forces? Why not asking the President to resign? Why not the service chiefs? Why not the Nigerian police, which has the primary responsibility of internal policing and crime prevention? Why not the intelligence agency, DSS, and what have you? Why not the Sokoto state government? Because why not the Sokoto state government? Which we know, all of us as citizens of Sokoto, we know that it has a very strong burden on it. Why not the local government and community leadership? Because we believe that we need a very strong collaboration. They have a very powerful role to play. Why not religious and traditional institutions? Why not criminal informant and financiers? Why not citizens who possesses actionable information about criminals but fail to report them? If Murik genuinely believes that insecurity is a national emergency, then the answer cannot logically be to isolate one member of this much larger security architecture and threaten him with resignation. That approach risks turning a national security problem into a political or probably a personal context. That's our thinking. The minister should be held accountable. Yes, we agreed, but fairly. Nothing in this response should be interpreted as argument against accountability. No. This should not be interpreted as we are saying no to accountability, no to holding the minister accountable. But the Minister of Defense, like every public office holder, must be accountable for the responsibilities legally assigned to his office. The armed forces must also be accountable. The security agencies must also be accountable. Government must also be accountable. But accountability must be based on law, facts, institutional responsibility, and measurable performance, not on an arbitrary ultimatum. Murik demands that Sokoto become impregnable and unassailable within 14 days. It is also very unrealistic, very, very unrealistic, as a test of national security performance. No serious security professional can responsibly guarantee that no terrorist or bandit or criminal will even ever attack a particular location within a specific period. Whether we said it or didn't mention it clear, we know this is very, very unrealistic. Now, the appropriate test is whether government and the security agencies are improving intelligence, are preventing attack, are degrading criminal networks, rescuing victims, protecting vulnerable communities, prosecuting offenders, and continuously strengthening the country's security architecture. That is the fundamental questions. Now, we are suggesting way forward. Rather than issuing ultimatum, Murik should consider establishing a constructive engagement mechanism with the Ministry of Defense and other security institutions. Murik, as a civil society organization, can make a far greater contribution by, one, facilitating credible community intelligence, supporting early warning system, promoting cooperation between religious leaders and security agencies, discouraging the glorification or recruitment of criminals, supporting victims of terrorism and banditry, promoting peaceful coexistence, helping to identify radicalism and helping to identify radicalization and violent extremism risk, and mobilizing Nigerians to cooperate with security agencies. These are interventions that can save life and can go a long way in improving the national security. Now, conclusion. The killing of Nigerians, whether in Sokoto, KB, Zamfara, or any other part of the country, is unacceptable. The solution is not scapegoating again. General Christopher Gwabi Musa, which has identified himself strongly with Sokoto, in fact, as a son of the soil of the seat of the Caliphate. In all the projects he did, he identified himself as the son of the soil and has shared the pains of the people in the Caliphate. For those of us probably that have had opportunity of meeting him, knows how he feels deeply worried. And equally contributed immensely in community development of the Caliphate, where he spent most of his early life. All of us know he grew up here, did his primary, he did his secondary school here. So he is, in fact, he feels he never want anybody to, look at him as somebody who is not from Sokoto. So he feels he is Sokoto, he is the son of the soil of the Caliphate. But the solution, since we say it's not scapegoating, what is the solution? The solution is stronger intelligence sharing, better coordination, adequate resources for military personnel, effective leadership, professional military operation, community cooperation, responsible governance, and also citizen participation in issue of security. Therefore, General Christopher Musa should therefore be judged on the responsibility assigned to his office. We can, maybe in the questions, maybe asked, what has he been doing so far or what are the achievements he has so far recorded when he came into the office? Well, the resources available to him. So we look at the performance and also look at the resources. Now the constitutional chain of command and measurable results, not on the artificial 14-day ultimatum by the civil society organization. We don't think that is appropriate. Murik is entitled to its opinion. However, it is not constitutionally empowered to determine the tenure of the federal minister. The appointment or removal of federal minister are matters of the president and the constitutional process of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not for ultimatum issued by a pressure group. The real challenge before all Nigerians is not who should we blame. It is what we can do. It is what can each of us do to help Nigerians defeat terrorism, defeat banditry, defeat kidnapping, and also defeat violent crime. This is the conversations I strongly believe that all Nigerians need.